Friends, family, subscribers to the YouTube channel, Adventuring with the S.G.O.C.C. So we're here at a pretty special place. Arizona is full of history, amazing history. I remember as a kid reading all about Geronimo. Well, this, my friends, is the surrender monument. This is where Geronimo surrendered for the last time to General Nelson Miles, thus marking the end of Indian hostilities in the South. This is it. The real monument and surrender point is 8 miles up there. It's difficult to get to, need a 4-wheel drive, so they made this one. The city of Douglas popped this up in 1934 to commemorate the end of the Apache conflict with the United States Army. This is it. This is where it all ended. The Apache and Geronimo, the last opposing chief of the Apache Nation. I'm not sure, I don't think he was Cherokee, he was one of the other bands. But he and 16 of his braves, this is the surrender one. From here they went to Florida, and that was that. You can see if you look around, when Tim pans around all this, this is 2024. And there's damn little here at all. On the right up there, you can barely see it because of the trees, is a 2-story stone building. We're going to stop there on the way back because that's part of the historic area here. But you can see this place hasn't changed, not much. Grasses might be different, but it is still wide open, wild country. You can imagine the 16 braves in Geronimo holed up in those hills up there. It would have taken an entire army's column to get them out of there. And as I understand it, General Miles went around to every farmhouse, every farm, every ranch, all the way into Mexico, anywhere where Geronimo and his braves could find food and supplies, they plundered. They blacked this whole area out. So Geronimo was forced to surrender. There's no more choice. You got to fight the braves and their families. Because the Apache didn't travel just with braves as a war column. They traveled with all their families, kids, old people, little ones, wives. Makes it a little more difficult when you're fighting the U.S. Army. So, you want to read the plaque, Cassie, or you want me to?
I'll try to read the plaque.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's bright. Hold on, the sign. Near here,
Geronimo,
last
Apache,
chief, and Nata with their followers surrendered. I can't read.
Okay.
I can't read
Near
today.
here, Geronimo, the last Apache chieftain, and Natite, with their followers, surrendered on September 6, 1886, to General Nelson A. Miles, U.S. Army Lieutenant Charles B. Gatewood, with Cayeta and Martin, both Apache scouts. They risked their lives to enter the camp of the hostiles to present terms of surrender, which actually took place 8 miles up in that mountain. Presented to them by General Miles. After 2 days, Gatewood received the consent of Geronimo and Natite to surrender. The surrender of Geronimo in Skeleton Canyon on that historic day forever ended Indian warfare in the United States of America. This memorial was erected in 1934 by the city of Douglas with federal CWA funds. Douglas is 40 miles back there and sits right on the border.
This monument is on East 8, is that correct?
Yeah.
Headed from Douglas back up to the, what is it, the 90?
Yeah,
actually?
Roughly, not 90, no, with 10. Because we are roughly halfway between Douglas and the border of New Mexico and Arizona. And this is what the wild Arizona high desert looks like. hills, grasses. Most of it's open range for cattle. It's just wide open. There's not too many fences except the demarcations for property lines and to keep cattle off the roadways. But you can see there's just the big nothingness. So when people say that the United States is overpopulated, there's no room for growth, they are lying to you. It is possible to live out here. It's hard, a lot harder than a city, but that's okay. We're Americans. We're used to hard. It's what we do.
Now, the Apaches, if I recall correctly, they primarily moved from mountain range to mountain range because out in this particular area, the mountains act as, somebody's described it, desert islands. And by desert islands, not as in desert islands in the sea, but as in looking at the desert or the high mesa region as being this open prairie. And then the islands is where the clouds would cluster, and that's where the springs and the water points were. And so they would travel from spring and cluster of mountains to spring and cluster of mountains.
Exactly correct. In fact, there is a series of mountain tops in or around Sierra Vista called the Sky Islands for just that reason. That's where you'll find a lot of stuff in western Cochise County. A lot of the hills have caverns, big underground areas, and what better place to hide in summertime? In the shade.
They have totally different climates too. Here you can look around, it's mostly yucca plants, some mesquite, various brambles, clusters of various kind of grasses, and of course that changes based on the monsoon season, the water, and all sorts of other conditions. You go into a lot of these cluster points and you're going to find pin oaks, you're going to find cedars, you're going to find willows that don't make sense when you're looking at the expanse of the desert. They only make sense in the fact that in those mountain ranges, they're sequestered from the barren nature of the rest of this land.
And you can look across the highway here. We have some trees here, along with a great deal of cactus, a lot of mesquite, some trees. But if you follow where the waterway is, against that brown of that hill that slopes down, you can see trees all along where you would find water, and a lot of green grasses and green. That's where you go for water. You're not going to find water over here in the dark desert. And up in those hills, you have to know where they are, but there's springs, there's caves, there's all kinds of places to hide food, there's all kinds of places to hide you. So, I don't know what day it is today. It's Saturday.
15th of June.
June 15th. Oh, start of the monsoon season here in Arizona. This is it. It's why we live in Arizona. I remember as a kid reading all about Geronimo, and here it is. History that you can touch. You can get right up to. Thank you for following. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Cassie?
This has been a Fun Brothers production.
Yes, it has. We're the Fun Brothers.